Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome back to the Brass Ass Podcast, folks. Yes, I am your host, Suitcase Ace. Hey, before we go any further, remember the Brass Ass Podcast is on YouTube. Also, our main platform is Spotify. You know, I got a good one here for you today, and I know you're gonna like it. And you know what? It's about the power of confrontation, folks. Yeah, the power of confrontation. You know what? How many top line kids and players do you see, taking those extra long shifts and then glide from the far blue line towards the bench when they finally decide, yeah, I think I'll go to the bench now? Have you ever seen those blue collar fourth line players, players do that kind of stuff? No, because they don't. Because the blue collar players, they hear their name and then or they dump the puck in deep and they make a quick change and come to the bench as quick as possible. Yeah, you know what? The 30 to 45-second shifts, they're disciplined, they're hard workers, and you know what? Watch the next time with a willing eye. You know what I'm talking about. And also, it might surprise you who pretends to work hard and who really does work hard and play the way they're being coached. It drives me nuts. Every time I see that fourth line blue collar player, it has to sit when there's a penalty kill committed entirely by a complete lack of effort, a part of the top two line superstar players, right? Skill, folks, I know is important too, obviously, but details matter too. They really do. I'll tell you why. And they make a huge difference going down the road to the stretch to the playoffs. Because in my observation, folks, the hardest thing to coach is what to do when you don't have the puck and why you should do it. Because there's some players, could be told where to go and how to play their position over and over and over again, right? Most won't listen. It's more fun to chase the puck around like a chicken with your head cut off. You know what I'm talking about? Some will listen and play their positions like a machine, but never really grasp the why part. And the remaining players that get it, well, you know what? They really shine. They stand out. I mean, if you want to go far in a game of hockey, having a twirling lacrosse-style shot in your arsenal it isn't necessary, folks. But knowing where to go in countless game situations is. At a certain point, players are out there doing their own thing, right? Well, those players become defensive liabilities on the ice, which is so ironic since it's generally thought that the lesser skilled blue-collar players are the liability. No, yeah, those horrible fourth liners, that's what you hear, right? Well, I'm going to tell you something. The scale tips, though, as it happens fast, as you get higher in your career. My point is, the best players are usually the hardest working players. So when you start getting higher in your career, yeah, they need blue collar players out there, folks. I'm telling you, they're good players to have. There's guys in the NHL who are a rare combo of super wide skill set and a fourth line blue collar work ethic type of guy. And if you ever had the opportunity to, let's say, skate alongside a professional player in a game, the one thing you can't help notice is that they're always in the right place. Always. They know what they're doing when they don't have the puck. I mean, it's crazy when you realize how large part of what makes them so successful has nothing to do with what they can do with the puck. I'm telling you. If you want to get the most out of your players, coaches, you have to apply pressure. And that's the only thing that any of us really responds to. As a coach, I've always tried to turn up the heat under all my players to constantly push them to perform at a high level. That's the kind of guy I am. And creating pressure in a team requires confrontation. And it can get very intense and very emotional. And I've seen many coaches avoid confrontations, folks, with their players because they don't like conflict. And I assume the same thing is true among the leaders of business teams, you know. But I've actually come to like and understand confrontation, not because it makes me feel powerful, but because it provides an opportunity to get things straight with the players that I'm coaching. And it's not until you look your player right in the eye that you get the source and the feeling of their behavior and their motivation. Because without confrontation, you're not going to change the way they think, play, or they act. Confrontation, folks, does not mean that putting a player down. No. Because when you criticize players, right, on the team, you need to put it in a positive context. That's the way you do it. And I've often said to a player, I don't think you're performing up to your potential. You can do better. But I've also made it clear that my goals were his or her goals. It's in your best interest that you succeed. And it's in my best interest that you succeed. Why? It's because we really want the same thing. So, having said that, once you set the context, you shouldn't be afraid to be blunt about it and about the players, what their fallings and what they need to work on. No, you shouldn't be afraid to offend them because you're there to coach them. And you need to do what it takes to get a strong reaction, because then you know that you've reached them. I'm telling you, when you trigger these players, they wake up sometimes. They become a better person and a better player. And if you want to be the best, folks, the truth is you have to choose to be excellent each day and every single day, because that just is what elite hockey players do. And excellent, it doesn't happen, when you're just out on the ice. It happens as a result of all the little things, the choices that you make, on and off the ice every single day. So there you have it, folks. Yes, the Brass Ass Podcast, folks. I'm telling you again, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, and after you listen to this, someone wants to listen to what you're listening to, okay? So you got to share it. And after you share, don't be afraid to subscribe. Yeah, I am your host, Suitcase Ace, and you have just listened to the rest of the story.